This is Red Dog Terrain. Welcome back to the shed. Today we're building a well. My wife and I help run Festival International, the largest international festival in the United States. When this comes out, we will be on the last day. So I wanted to make a piece that would be fairly quick to build and easy to edit, meaning this video may have a little less voiceover and a little more music by the band IAH. I went with a Scatter Terrain Classic, an old well. I started with a piece of scrap dollar store ready board, foam board. I cut a 1-inch piece of thick paper tubing and hot glued them together. I had some leftover bricks from a previous build and those got glued around the tubing. When gluing bricks onto a curve, I like to bend the bricks a little. It's not realistic, but the bend is slight enough not to notice, and you end up with less bricks awkwardly sticking out. I cut 2 posts and a crossbeam, glued them in, and put pins in to hold them in place. Let me take a moment to welcome all the new subscribers. I see you. Thanks for being here. Next came a few bricks around the top. I cut them into a trapezoid shape to make them fit better. They're not perfect, but for an old well, they do just fine. A piece of lightweight chipboard got cut and folded over. Then I cut angles and made another trapezoid. This is the base of the roof. I cut 4 beams with 1 flat end and 1 angled end, then glued and pinned them in place. Getting them to stay lined up and keeping the right slope on the roof was difficult. They kept wanting to slide around, or they were in the wrong position. I fought with this for a while. The base of the well was coated in a secret sauce. Then I went out of order because I knew once the roof was on, it would be nearly impossible to reach certain spots to paint. So before the whole thing was built, I painted the base. A simple gray for the stones and cinnamon for the wood. Once again using leftovers, I glued on shingles and cut them to fit. The roof got a coat of Mod Podge and paint, and then I textured it with an old, gnarly wire brush. I cut a tiny piece of dowel and drilled into the top, and then through it. I ran a piece of wire through and twisted it. This would be my bucket. I undid some twine, tied it to the wire, looped it around the crossbeam, and dripped on plenty of super glue. When the levee broke, the natural path of the river was changed. Now the water cut across the countryside, well away from the center of where the town had been. When the villagers returned and began to rebuild, they did not do so in the same location, but miles away. They gathered the belongings that hadn't been washed away. They salvaged any material light enough and valuable enough to make the new trip to rebuild their homes. None of that included the well. The place so many had once gathered stood alone in the empty landscape, slowly being overtaken by nature herself. Everything was dry brushed in light buttermilk. I went heavy on the dry brushing. I wanted the wood and stone to look washed out. With a couple dabs of hot glue and some pressure, the roof was attached. Everything got a good bath of black wash. I used a bit of green contrast paint, but I felt it was too prominent and wiped most of it away. Once it dried, it was too light. I have to learn to just go for it, knowing I can always paint over it later. The ground was covered in tacky glue, and then I covered the whole thing in homemade sawdust flocking. I also applied a little static grass. Then I added a few tufts and flowers and clumps. I put plenty of moss and flocking on the well itself. While I do that, I'll ask you to like, subscribe, and comment, or tell a friend. I'm getting close to 250 subscribers, and I could use your help. I hope people appreciate how many puns I didn't make using the word well. I wanted to, but I knew it would quickly run dry. Here's a few shots of the final piece. Thanks for watching.